fist my face. Okay. Okay. Sweet deal. Good. Audio quality. All right. This is number 3. Number 2 was not released.
Yes, it is the
Yeah.
third one we've done. I'm still working on number 2. But thank
What's
you,
up?
Vaughn, for coming back.
Thank
and
you.
once again, shout out to Chris and Alex letting us do this in their amazing house.
Oh my
and
God, I love this
my
house.
amazing daughter Chris is letting us do it in her weird, in her Third Times Me studio. Hopefully you can make out the
You having some problems over there?
Yeah, I am.
You know they have a pill for that.
It's a little limp.
Yeah.
There we go. It wasn't screwed on properly.
There we go. Mine's not detachable, but that's okay.
Oh my God. Hey, wait till you get to 51, buddy.
Oh God.
They're doing medicine is doing wonders right now.
I don't know. Do you? My roommates they always talk about like testosterone. Or
Oh,
whatever.
so let's cheers,
Oh, cheers. Oh.
please. Seriously, Vaughn, you are one of the most interesting people I've ever met, so I appreciate you doing this.
That's
And there
nice
is
to
no
say.
there's no hum or buzz in the back of this, so we're actually going to be able to post this one.
Cool. I hope my dad enjoys watching that one too. He was watching
I
the
think
first
he
one.
will. I think he will.
I hope so. I mean, what's new? What's new? We were. It's awkward starting a podcast because
No,
we've
it's
already
not.
had. Well, it's not. I mean,
We
we've
just
already,
keep talking, man.
We've had such great conversation already before, and it's like.
That's because I was screwing around with the gosh damn laptop, and and I had. So the backstory to that was, me and my daughter, like literally, I think it was 2 weeks ago. We met like in the late afternoon, and then decided to just come back to her house here and impromptu podcast. But I was gonna try to, because she has her own equipment. I was gonna try to use her audio equipment, but my laptop and my software. And we couldn't make it work. Her USB interface, which your favorite word now.
Of course, I know exactly what that means.
Anyway, we couldn't make it work, but in the process of trying to make it work, we changed a bunch of settings in my software, which obviously it's plug and play if I don't mess with it. This is probably why we can agree on this. I love and hate computers at the same time.
I just
Because when
don't
they
like 'em.
work, it's amazing.
Uh-huh.
But then if you actually try to do anything, you try to change a setting or try to update, then the bottom falls out.
I don't get frustrated a lot with things, but computers are the one thing that, like, I'm even trying to go to school or whatever on at Clark College, and even just their website alone, it's enough to grind my gears.
Are you trying to do the schooling online or just
No.
trying to register?
No.
Just
If
even trying to register for classes.
Okay, so I'm registered as a student, but because I was dumb, I've lived in Washington for 3 years, but I didn't get my license until they said, "Hey, get your license in Washington, or we're gonna pay."
You had an
fine you."
Oregon license.
I had an Oregon license,
Yeah.
and they finally found me, and they're like, "We're gonna fine you a lot if you don't change
Yeah.
it." But it's. I just
How
don't
did
like
they
computers.
find you? I don't want to.
They
I don't
just
want to.
track you
I don't
through
want
the
to pause your
system.
story, but
No, you're good.
because I can relate to the same thing because I was born and lived in Oregon from age 2 until 2013 that's when I finally moved to Vancouver. Obviously, I had Oregon plates on my car, and I didn't get in a rush. They never called me about the license, but I did start getting notices in the mail about. Obviously, you're living here. You need to register your car in Washington. Are there people that go out Clark County?
No. My dad it happened to him where like he thought a neighbor snitched on him or something because he had an Oregon plate. My theory is they just find you based on your whatever you're registering. Like, oh, here's my address. Every time you put your address somewhere, it gets sent to someone.
So I
And
was
then-
using
and then
the address for mail.
I did get a speeding ticket.
Oh, okay.
And then I said, "This is my address," and then
part of that might
they'll
have been.
find you.
I got a speeding ticket. Funny enough, in Oregon on the way to Mount Hood Meadows to go snowboarding. I got a ticket in Oregon, but I obviously had a mailing address in Vancouver, so maybe that was part of it.
something. Are you getting hunted right now? Are
No,
you good?
because I'm totally.
Yeah.
For years I caved and I'm Washington everything now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so dumb. I'm so lazy as an adult to do the things that are like important for registering until like I have a whiteboard, like your daughter has that whiteboard for all of the stuff she has to get done.
Oh,
I have
to stay organized and stay on task.
yeah, and I have a whiteboard that says like DMV with an empty checkbox, and it stayed empty for 2 years until they were like, "Hey, you're in trouble, buddy." Like I got a red card in the mail that was like, "We're gonna charge you a lot of money if you don't do this."
Is it almost like getting like literally a postcard, but it's red?
Yeah, it's a
And
red
just has
postcard. It
information
even
on
has the hazard, like an exclamation point triangle Dude,
so they're trying
yeah.
to make it obvious.
Yeah, I mean, thank God I got it in time because otherwise I'd be looking at $2,000 or something like that in penalties. Yeah, the penalties
It's
are crazy.
that much?
Yeah, they want you to pay for the state thing.
Jesus.
Dude, the government wants their money and they don't care how they get it.
And they ain't
Yeah.
playing, are they, man?
Yeah, like even like Teslas or whatever. Or what was this thing? Uber. There were certain states. I heard this. Certain states were starting to drown. They weren't making as much income as they normally did, and it's because DUIs were going down.
Because people were taking Ubers and Lyft,
Yeah, a DUI.
which should be a good thing.
It is a good thing, but now the state loses out on $20,000 per DUI. Because if you get a DUI, the government's going to get your local government's going to get a big check out of you.
Unfortunately, the ugly little not so well kept secret is traffic laws. They're actually designed for two things. The reason you can get pulled over for having a taillight out, it's not because they care about that. They're looking for a bigger thing. They're looking for if you're drunk. They're looking for if you have a warrant. They're looking for if you're transporting drugs. It's a gateway. It's a way to get you stopped and investigate more. But also, it's a revenue generator. That's what traffic laws are for.
They need to bring back cops. I don't know why. There's certain things that always stick with you. And I remember watching Cops as a kid. And this dude, like, it was a fucking awesome moment in the show. But a cop, all it was a guy took a right without using his blinker. I'm going to go see what's up. And then he pulled him over, tried to pull him over. He sped from the cop, hit a tree, and then took off on foot. And the cop got him. And it turns out he had like $20,000 worth of drugs in his car. But it all started with not using your blinker.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's the point of these traffic laws, to find bigger crimes, and then also to generate revenue.
So they need justification.
You just have to, they make a lot of laws where it's almost, unless you do a complete walk around of your vehicle every morning before you drive out, make sure you have a license plate light. Make sure your blinkers
you're supposed
are
to do
working.
that.
What's that?
You're technically supposed to do that. You're supposed to do a vehicle inspection every time before you drive.
Anyway.
No one does it.
No one does it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
But yes. God, how'd we get on that tangent? Because now you're getting me fired up. We talked about when you had to move to Vancouver and finally caved in and got a Washington license.
Yeah, so that's what's holding me up from college right now. I just went to the bank to get a notary from. They notarized this document because I went in with my grandma to prove that I've lived in Washington for like 2 years.
You have to establish a residency.
Yeah, because I didn't get my license or register my vehicle until like 4 months ago.
Okay, so
and if I want to go to college,
but you want to get in-state tuition.
Yeah, because if you're not in state, you're out of state. It's 6 times as much.
Are you able to still use the GI Bill, whatever they're calling it?
So we talked about the National Guard before.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about the National Guard. The military pays for your school in the National Guard while you're in the Guard. They don't pay once you get out. This is what's messed up.
That is why you told me if you could do it all again, you just would have went.
I would have done active 3 years, had a full GI Bill. Yeah, it's aggravating, especially to people who don't. Like even active duty vets that I know, friends, they're like, "Oh, you got the GI Bill." It's like, "Nope, I do not," and it's just a big bummer. But I'm down to pay. So I want to go to college for dental hygiene.
Okay.
I think that's my next step.
That's cool.
Yeah, because once you get done, Washington's one of the top 5 states that pay you, and the lowest pay bracket, $70,000 a year.
How long is the program?
4.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. The dental hygiene program is 2, but I don't have an associate's.
Oh, so you have to get that first.
Yeah, get an associate's and then go do your 2-year program. But it's right. I mean, you accrue.
No, it's a career, man.
Yeah, and even then, life's long. I figure this will be my first adult career. I'll be done. My 5-year plan is dental hygiene school. So 32 or 33, I'll be done.
Yeah.
Making money throughout my 30s. Still probably live in a low-income household. Like, I pay $400 in rent right now.
Oh, nice.
It's super nice. Well, I live with, like, 3 dudes, and it's messy.
Right, but you're all sharing the rent.
Yeah, it's super cheap. And then just make money through my 30s. And then with a good high-paying job, I can bounce to wherever I want to live.
This is actually your second adult career. You had one if you wanted it at Costco, but you chose to leave us in the tire shop.
I did.
I'm just busting your balls,
well,
man.
no, I'm
just messing with you because we miss you there. You were awesome.
Thanks, man. I know, but also the other half of the time, more than half the time, I was just pushing carts. Listening to the Always Sunny podcast.
No, you definitely have to. You got to put your time in there before you get to it. Like eventually, you would have become a full-time installer, and eventually you could have been a supervisor if you wanted it. But you have to put. Oh, of course. You know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
and you're smart. You totally could have had that if you want, but man, you got to put the time in.
So here's another reason I'm going to the dental hygienist is because you mentioned supervisor. I never want to manage an employee again. I've done it at 2 jobs.
Oh, that's right, at Dutch
Yeah,
in
and
Redmond.
I did it at Dutch and I did it at Pizza Shop. And I'll tell you this, I'm a bad manager, and I think because of it, it's I think my family's sin is pride. Like we're very prideful in our skills and our abilities.
Okay.
And it makes me super upset and like aggravated when somebody's worked there for a year and it's like, how come you can't fucking do it how I do it? You know what I mean? It makes me really mad. It makes because you're a supervisor.
Yes. Now, luckily, I don't have to deal with that issue in the tire shop because everybody I work with is fucking amazing, like rock stars.
Just kidding. I'm not gonna watch them.
So anyway, but so it's frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
I don't want to be in charge of anyone ever again.
Right.
Yeah, I was always best at every job as just like a maverick that did good, and I know my flaw is that I think I'm really good at my job.
Well, you are, but it's also because, I mean, you care about it. You're invested in it.
I don't think no, I wouldn't call it being invested. It's that
you have a work ethic.
I have a work ethic because my dad, he really, he did a good job of putting pride in what you're doing. Like if you're gonna do it, just be good at it.
And no matter what you do, put pride in it.
Yeah, be prideful.
I don't care if you're gonna mow lawns. Put pride in it and do the job right. If somebody's gonna pay you, it doesn't matter how much. But if you're gonna do a job, do it the best way, the best you can, and take pride in your work.
Even as just an employee, like if I'm on the clock, I'm working. If someone's paying me, I'm working. That's why I get upset. Like it's nice just being an employee because you only have to focus on what you're doing. Right now, I'm serving tables, and being a good employee works because
you're. Do you want to say where? I
I'm
know where you're
Olive
at.
Garden right
yeah,
now.
yeah, you're at Olive Garden, right?
But like that, serving for somebody with my mentality is really good because it's instant reward. If you're kicking ass, hey, here's for your good work, and then I hear people complaining about how they don't get
immediate
tips.
feedback.
You get immediate feedback. Hey, here's your payment for your good job, and then I see coworkers who don't get tipped fat.
Well,
and it's because you're lazy.
And it's also not. I didn't just mean tips. It's not just that you get a good tip, but that interaction with that table, even if they're only there for 30 minutes, you immediately know if they like you or not.
Yeah, it's sales. It
is,
and what you're selling is yourself. There's food products.
That's
but
what
you're
I'm
selling
saying.
Yourself.
You're not selling the product. You're selling yourself.
Yeah.
But you immediately get that feedback of how the the customers respond to you, and you know if you're doing a good job because you get the feel, the vibe back where. They might be playful. They might make a joke, or they actually want to talk to you.
Yeah, my favorite joke I've told the table. There's a couple of handfuls where I got the table cracking up. One was this late. I was like, "Oh, what'd you guys do today?" And they're like, "Oh, we were wedding dress shopping." And I went, "For what?" And that just made me really.
Did you say it that way?
I said it just
That's
like
awesome.
that. It was it made me really happy because they laughed.
That was like a total Beavis and Butthead moment.
I realized I can do Beavis, and I can do Beavis and Butthead where it's like, oh, I can't do it right now. But.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
And then another one was these young kids. They were like under 20, and they were talking about computers. And they were talking about like resetting it, all this stuff, and I'm listening as I'm boxing their food, and I just go, "Did you slap it until it was a good girl?" And I thought I was gonna get in trouble, and I went, "Oh,
were they with their family?"
No. Okay. It was all 4 kids, like 20 or under, and I said, "Did you slap it until it was a good girl?" And I said it like that.
And did they get the voice inflection?
Yeah, they got the voice inflection, and I paused because I went,
"How's this gonna land?"
Yeah, no, I paused. And then they also paused, and we all look at each other, and then we all Nice. So thank God. Nice. But like, it's
well,
fun.
you are learning how to read a crowd, obviously, because of what you do. So
I've just always done customer service, and so.
Yeah. Oh Jesus, yeah, Dutch is all about that shit. And I think we talked about this in the first podcast. And I don't remember your answer to this. I should call your dad since he probably watched it more recently.
Probably.
Remember how Dutch pushes? They want their baristas to engage every fucking customer. And I'm like, would you stop fucking talking to me? Just give me my coffee. But hey, what's going on today, man? You got big plans? I'm like, would you just shut the fuck up?
But to some, that is like the highlight of their day. It's really weird what some people like. Say, for instance, at my job, there's a certain person in a certain department, dishwashing, and he is a weird dude.
Mhm.
And he likes to interact with all the servers. He likes to interact with everybody, but he's a very weird dude. And somebody will like come up to him and be like, "God, he's so weird." And it's like, yeah, but also we don't know what his life's like outside of work. This could
But
be
he's not coming from a bad place.
No,
He-
no, no,
He just
no.
wants to engage.
Exactly. He wants to engage. He's a
Okay.
little off. Like there's
I
something
mean,
like
maybe
his
on the
brain's
spectrum,
maybe not
on the
could
spectrum
be,
or
could
something,
be,
maybe.
but we don't know. And working here might be the only social interaction he gets. I don't know what he goes home to.
You have no idea what his life is like outside of work.
No, you do not. To some people, work
That's very
is the
insightful
only,
that you know that. A lot of
Yeah,
a lot of
well,
people your age don't know that. They don't have that epiphany.
dude. Sometimes you go home and you're bummed out.
Yeah.
It sucks. Like when I was working at Vancouver Sign, I lived with my grandma, and that was great. I love living with my grandma, but it's like it's not the same as talking with you or like other buddies. Like
Right.
I don't get my social cup filled there because at Vancouver Sign, I'm in a corner all day listening to podcasts and music.
That's why
not.
it was a problem. I
Yeah.
remember you saying that's why you were like, I can't keep doing
It's
this.
depressing. It's
Yeah.
no social interaction. It's a
Yeah.
good job, but you've got to be the right prototype. You got to be somebody who's good at being stoic and by themselves.
And you need interaction with other humans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I could probably do that job because when I come home, my 3 roommates, it's just a freaking ball.
You'd almost want to go to that job after dealing with your fucking roommates.
Dude,
I'm kidding.
yeah.
I don't even know his roommates. I'm just joking. You guys are probably
No.
awesome, but
Liam Cole, I think you would love them. They're cool.
let's give him a shout out.
Yeah, some of the Liam Cole and Jet and Cam, all 3 of them, or all 4 of them. There's so many of them.
You should go to college. You can't do math.
I know. Whoa. But they're super cool, and they're some of the best people I have conversations with.
So do you want to talk about that? How did you meet them?
I met Liam and Cole 3 years ago at a Halloween party at my friend Dion's house, and Dion and I have been friends since 4th grade. And
So you have this friend Dion,
yeah,
childhood friend, and
Dion
then you
met Liam in college at engineer school.
And are all of your roommates from the Vancouver area?
No,
okay.
California, all over the place. But literally, it's me and Cam, and then the other 3 are all cousins.
Your cousins?
No, they're their cousins.
Oh, I'm sorry. 3 cousins, and then
me and Cam are not family.
Okay.
But you can tell there's a huge family dynamic. Like they show me pictures of them growing up together. Like they're just like the coolest dudes I know, and it's so weird because I met them 3 years ago. The reason I moved in because I was in with Grandma Lucy's. I loved being there, but I was at their house drinking and partying, and then we go up to their vacant room in the house, similar to this one, where we're just like all fucking around in there. And then Liam's like, "Bro, why don't you move in?" And I go, "Why don't I move in?" And then a week later, I moved in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the room needed some work though. I feel like
Are they
fixed
about
the
your
holes.
age?
We're all the same age, 27
okay.
to 29.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's cool.
And they all are they all in careers, or are they all kind of still kind of finding their path?
We're all in different stages. Liam is in his career. He's an engineer.
Nice.
Super hard to comprehend what he does. He does right now one of the biggest projects he does is he does the fuel tank design for like truckers, like trucks, like
Yeah.
the big rigs, 16-wheelers
So
for the country.
fuel
does-
tanks for the truck itself,
For the truck
or
itself.
the tankers that they're
Like
pulling
No, for like
for the truck
I
itself.
think for the fuel.
yeah, the
housing.
diesel that a truck needs.
Yes,
that hangs
exactly.
on the side
housing,
of the truck.
the housing for
Yes,
it, and
okay.
He'll correct me if I'm wrong, but like, and it's just, but he does that for the entire, like those trucks are for the entire country.
Yeah,
Like that's what his company does. So he is the most established in his career. My other roommate Cole, he is working towards his journeyman's. He's an electrician,
okay.
and then Jet is also done with his education. He is a so around here, obviously, we have a lot of trees. His job, I don't know what the title is, but he is an arborist.
Yeah.
And he is a tree inspector so that they don't fall on power lines.
Oh, so he can come out and say, oh, this needs to be trimmed, or this tree is
Yeah.
about to die, you have to cut it down.
Exactly. Yeah, he
Yep.
reports that. And then me, I'm the farthest behind. I just now figured out what I want to go to college
Farthest, I
for.
think you might be ahead of him, man. You're a fucking comedian, so.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I
okay.
know, but
I'm
that
just
doesn't make
fucking
money
with you.
until you get really, 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 really
It
good
takes
at
10 years. That's what
Dude.
Rogan says. We talked about
I
it.
know, but
Do
I
it
want,
for 10 years.
I need
But
civilian
you could,
money.
of course, you can accelerate it.
That's why I want to do 4 years of the schooling, get done, work 4 days a week as a dental hygienist, have 3 days off, still be able to stay up late, and then with the dental hygienist money, I can move wherever I want and be fine.
You can always get a job, and it's funny you mentioned the hygienist thing, because if I'm not mistaken, it's like a 4-day work week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
That's what
like
made it
my
appealing.
dentist doesn't work on Fridays.
No.
I mean,
That's what makes it appealing. You get 3 days off. You go do mics. You can do a mic every week because they're like a shift for a dental hygienist starts at like 8 a.m.
yeah,
There's mics that are at 8 p.m.
yeah.
Do a mic, get out, go home, go to work.
You can still go to sleep in time to have a good night's sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like, I don't ever want to live a life where I have to rely on a partner or asking money from dad.
right.
I just want to. That's why my 5-year plan is get this degree, make some money while I'm here, and then bounce to Austin, Texas, or New York.
Well, but obviously being a dental hygienist, you can move if you have to, and you're always going to be able to find a job.
And that's my plan.
Yes.
That's my plan.
Yeah. And also still work this side gig, which may eventually become your main gig.
Mm-hmm.
But you're looking for something. You're looking for stability and security. A job that allows you to be creative.
Yeah, I've acknowledged that life's really long. Like my
Yeah.
parents went to college for freaking art, and my dad stuck with it, and my mom's had 1,000 jobs afterwards. Like, dude, I have so much time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have a plan, like a game plan
Right.
for real.
That's
Just
awesome.
keep doing the mics.
So
and
let's
then
get.
this job.
I actually wanted to talk to you about this. I want to hear about how the mics are going, dude. I want to do a deep dive on it because you were doing it. It was spring.
Mhm. Last time I was here, I think it was a year ago.
Almost a
report.
year. It wasn't
Yeah.
quite a year because
Okay.
I moved in to the apartment in a Super Bowl weekend. So literally a year ago to the date.
Mm-hmm.
And then we recorded the podcast in the apartment maybe in spring, like May or something like that.
Something, yeah.
So it's been less than a year. But even then, we did talk about, you working on because you're doing the open mics and you're hosting them, but you're also going to them. But I remember talking to you back then. It was only 7 or 8 months ago. And I was like, oh, were you doing it? I'll just show up. And you were like, it makes it a little awkward. But I feel like you're in a different place now. Like, I feel like I could come down to Donnell's.
You could.
To the open mic you host there, and you'd be comfortable. You weren't comfortable 7 months ago.
No.
So tell me the story
The
about
evolution of it all?
Yes. Well, just where you're at now versus then.
Well, I think that it's crazy that growth does happen in it. Like, I mean, I've hardly done shows, but like the confidence to do material is better. Like I did new material last night,
Okay.
and whether it worked or not, I felt very comfortable.
Well, that was Monday night at Donnell's?
Last night. No. Donnell's is our mic, which is a good warm-up mic because you get 7 minutes.
Okay.
And last night we had an audience of 8 people.
Mm-hmm.
And the next bar we go to, me and Grant Levitt and like Joseph Crum and my friend Alex Edmonds, who I co-host with Alex Edmonds.
Yeah. Give them all shout-outs.
Hell yeah. But then we'll go to Haymaker, which has an audience of 20
I don't know where
plus
that's
people.
at.
Haymaker's actually a bar in Portland. We should.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you'd like that one. But that one has an audience of like 20 plus people.
Nice.
So that's a good gauge. Like you only come to our mic just to have been able to say it on stage.
Is it almost entry level? Like,
yeah.
To bust to kind of break the seal and say I got up there and I did it.
Yeah, Donnell's is very entry level. Somehow we ended up posting it. I don't know if last time I talked to you that we were hosting the mic.
Yes, you were.
Yeah, so
because I was
holy
joking
crap.
about I would come down there and you were like, no, if I saw you, I would get nervous.
So we've been hosting it that long?
Yes.
7 months?
Yeah, at least.
Are you serious?
I mean, I have the file on my laptop, so I can give you an exact date. But I feel like it
Wow.
was 6 or 7 months. It's been
Yeah.
a while.
But yeah, we're getting better. I mean, Alex, my buddy, like I just texted him last night, like, because we were hosting. He shows up. Hey, bro, I'm sorry, I got to leave because I'm doing Hewitt's show, which is another comedian here. He actually looks a lot like you, bald white guy.
Oh, I'm
And-
sorry.
Yeah. But he's very funny. Hewitt's very funny. And Alex was on that show, and it was 100 people show.
Jesus.
And he was on that show. And I'm like, fuck, yes, dude. Like, we're doing it. Like, he's doing it. I'm just a guy who's his friend. But we're getting, like the evolution is showing.
and it's going
really
fast. Because
I hope so. I don't know.
I like the fact that you were surprised that it was literally like 7 months ago. You didn't realize that it was that
No.
long ago.
I can't believe how long it's been. That's crazy.
yes.
We've been doing it for a long time.
Time
I
is
guess.
going too fast. But seriously, so your Donnell's, is that kind of your thing, or you and your partners?
Yeah,
Is
me
it
and
a
my
team
boyfriend
that-
Alex.
is it a- no, stop it. Is it a team that hosts it?
Yeah, it's me and him.
And
so
is it
like,
literally every Monday?
it's literally every Monday, 6:30. 6 is sign up. 6:30 is when the show starts. And then, but with the mics and stuff, you notice that the same comedians go to the same mics, and then occasionally you have some new faces come in. Like last night we had Kristen Rowan, who's kind of like this. She is like a Portland mom, like almost like rock climbery, hipstery thing.
Okay.
And it was the first time she showed up, and she
Wait a
did
minute.
10 minutes. She crushed. It was awesome. It was great.
I feel like I know that name.
Kristen Rowan. I mean, if you know a comedian named Kristen Rowan, that's
It
her.
wasn't even the name. It was. I'm sorry, the way you described her.
Well, there's a lot of those.
Has she been doing it for a while?
I think so. I think she mentioned
Yeah.
something like 13
Yes.
Something.
Okay.
glasses, short hair.
I can't picture her face. I
Okay.
feel like there was an article in the Oregonian that talked about during the pandemic. Obviously,
Mhm.
everything got shut down, but she had. Was she the one that went to LA to try to blow it up, and then the pandemic happened, and she ended up coming back to Oregon, to Portland, and then trying to start open mics?
I don't know. But I enjoyed her very much. It's really
Alright.
interesting. I was talking to another comedian last night, Amani, this very flamboyant gay black dude. Pretty funny. I enjoy him a lot, and he's
Yeah.
fun to talk to, fun to hang out with. But like, he moved here for comedy
When? How long ago?
from Boston.
Boston
I
has a
know.
great comedy scene.
I know.
And how long ago did he move here? Though?
I think over a year. But that's
Okay.
what was like surprising to me. You moved to Portland for comedy.
And he's from the Boston
He's
area?
from Boston. Because I
Okay.
feel like Portland's a very censored comic area. Like it's very much stay in your lane. If you're not gay, don't do gay jokes. If you're not a woman, don't do abortion jokes. If you're not Arabian, don't do Arab jokes. If you're not black, don't do black jokes. Like,
Is that a thing?
yeah.
And again, Vaughn's dad, I'm going to tell him again, don't talk about anything you're not comfortable with, but okay, go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, I love.
But no,
'cause-
I'm curious
okay, so the
about
reason
that.
I do this is because I love comedy. But what I've noticed is because, like, I think last time I was on, I said it was very high school.
Yes, you did. I
And
remember
it's,
that.
It's also pretty darn political. If you're not of a certain ilk, do not speak about it. And sometimes that it's almost like a form of censorship.
It totally is.
It is a form of censorship. Like I have an abortion joke, and it hits. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not gonna do it, but it's like, but it's because it's well. Like fuck, I sound so conceited, but it's
well crafted.
it's something I put a lot of work into. Like my first abortion joke ever was fuck, because I had one that was super dumb. Oh, I was gonna write a joke about abortion, but I wasn't ready to have one yet. So yeah, like, all right, thanks, but
Seriously, that was good.
yeah,
Oh
but now
my
I actually
God.
have like a long form version of it, and I don't know, but it's really interesting. Like you can't just be funny here. I don't know what it's like in other towns. I think there's a reason why people move. But
so is there almost too much? There's some gatekeepers up here in the Portland area that are like kind of putting
I don't-
parameters on what you're allowed to make jokes about.
I don't necessarily want to call it gatekeeping because that's almost like a barrier, a threshold you want to break through to hit the upper echelon.
And I'm sorry, maybe
Yeah.
I misspoke that.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about the people that are the venues that are hosting it or the people that are running the open mics. Is it the feeling you're getting from the crowd? Of the crowd dictates
No.
what you're allowed.
The crowd just wants to watch.
Really? So it's not bad.
It's other comedians.
It's not bad feedback from the crowd.
No, I think it has to
Okay.
do entirely with the comics, and it's like certain and there's not. I mean, there's truly nothing wrong with it in the grand scheme of things. But say if you are a queer mic, they will request queer comedians, and if you're not a queer comedian, you won't get put on. It's for like shows. They'll have like queer shows, black shows, and it's exclusive. But
Why,
that's
though?
that's not a new thing. That's not a why.
It's
PC
comedy.
culture. PC culture. It's not enough just to if it's funny, I think you can get away with it. I think the reason why.
But
What's up,
why-
Riley? Why is it established? I think-
Why are those parameters established? Why is there a gay open mic? Why is there a straight open mic?
I think it's established.
Oh, my amazing daughter,
hello. I
who
think
is
it's
allowing us to
established.
host this in her office and her studio space.
Thank you,
Chris
Kristen.
made an appearance.
She's awesome. Also, the beautiful dog Riley.
Yes, Riley is back in here
Yeah.
too. Now we're talking about you, Chris, as you try to find something you needed. From
Here,
your
while she's in
workouts.
here, I'm actually gonna go pee.
All right. Let me pause it. I can pause it. Love you, Chris.
God, you're good. Technology literate. USB interface. Wow. That's a very futuristic heater. That's also very futuristic.
Although it is like an eye opening to stare at you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. iRobot in the house.
You
Wow.
saw that movie, yeah? That
Dude,
exactly,
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Of course I've seen iRobot.
Oh my God, that's great.
You guys didn't see it, but Ken looked super shocked when I mentioned iRobot.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was not
Yeah.
surprised at all.
How's it sound? Are we good? Or is it happening? Is it
Put
happening?
the headphones on.
Sound check. iRobot. Will Smith.
Testicular testing.
Testicular.
Check, check.
Check. We're good.
Well, you
We're
sound
good,
way
dude.
sexier than I do.
Aw,
I'm
stop.
kind of getting tired of that.
I don't know. I thought I sound pretty femmy and boyish.
Knock
I'm
it
not
off.
sure. I don't know.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
We decided to do one more old fashioned, but
Delicious.
that's going to be the last one of the night because we're trying to be
I
responsible.
know. They taste great though.
Thank you. But yes, we were talking about the comedians, the comedy scene in the area.
Stay in your lane comedy.
Stay in your lane comedy. And
Yeah.
is that? I go ahead and say how long ago was it that you did your first? You told me about it in the last podcast, but the first time you actually got on stage and did even
Anything?
2 minutes.
My first time I went on stage, I did 6 minutes.
Okay.
And that's because like my process has changed a lot since then. But I wrote material. I practiced it in my room with a microphone
In front of a mirror?
in front of my room. Like there was no mirror. I just
I was
my
just
brother.
curious if it helped to see what you looked like on stage. Would that have helped, or you just wanted to be able to be comfortable with the material?
No, I know I'm handsome. It's fine.
Jesus Christ, that's something I would say. Thank
no,
you.
yeah. We're
Cheers,
all
buddy.
like-minded. Yeah, cheers again.
We are so sexy.
Right back at you, buddy.
Duh.
No, I prefer the longer mics. We host a 7-minute mic, and then there's like 2 or 3 other 7-minute mics. But the typical time that you get is 3 minutes, and 3 minutes is actually kind of hard because if you're not somebody who's going to be able to come up with like a laugh every 30 seconds, it's going to be a weird 3 minutes.
It has to be a very tight set.
Yeah, you have to be prepared.
There can't be any fat in the bit.
No, you see a lot. Like, I'm a baby. I'm less than 2 years into doing stand-up. But you definitely notice who's coming up with jokes. Like, this is clearly a joke. Like, this is a setup. This is a punchline.
Right.
And then you see things where it's like people are just venting about random crap. And it's
Yeah.
like... I mean, I've gone up and done nonsensical stuff. Like, after a breakup with a lady, I went up and tried to talk about it and try to make it funny, and it was just depressing.
I was actually going to ask
Yeah.
you about that. Especially if you're on a time limit, 5 or 7 minutes. Do you, as an open micer, as an amateur, do you think it's better to make sure that you have set up punchline, or if somebody wants to just get up there and talk stream of consciousness, does that just not work for open mic amateurs? It only works for people that have a name. Like somebody came to see this comedian because they know them, then they'll tolerate their stream of consciousness.
For an open mic or first timer, it's a delusional thought to think you can go up there with a stream of consciousness.
You need to have set up punchline.
Yeah, like if stand-up comedy is, hey, I'm here to tell jokes. And if it's not that, especially at this level,
That's a lot of pressure.
it's just going to be 3 minutes of nonsense. When you're an open micer at this level for sure, you just see a lot of nonsense. A lot of it's nonsense.
Oh, I bet. Right.
Yeah. But like a silver lining of somebody who is going up that may not be perceived as funny, or it's not funny at the time, but it's very obvious they're telling setup punchline. They're trying to tell jokes. In a year, they're gonna be funny.
Okay.
But if you're somebody who goes up, then it's like, yeah, I know I'm funny, and I have these crazy thoughts, and you go up and you just, without notes, without ever thinking about anything, without ever
It's
writing.
almost like an abstract art that they're trying to
Yeah,
present.
it's gonna be a rude awakening. It's a very rude awakening. Like at our mic 2 weeks ago, we had this guy go up. We were towards the end of our mic, and he's like, "Can I sign up?" And I was like, "Yeah, list's right there. Go up there." I was like, "Have you done this before?" He's like, "No, not yet." And then his buddy's next to him. He's like, "Dude, he's got so much written. He's got so much written." And then he went up. He sat on the stool, which is like a move that you do when you like
when you're
settling in.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, he sat on the stool, and then he went. And he's like, "I got nothing." He's like, "Man, it is like." As soon as he got up there, what was nice was he expressed what he was feeling. He was like, "Now that I'm up here and like looking at you guys, like I'm just so nervous. I have nothing to talk about.
That
I've got
actually
nothing."
might have been a good thing because
Yeah.
this is what
Mhm.
there's something about, like, you can go see a play on Broadway. You can
Mhm.
go see a live band do music. You can go see um, any a show in Vegas.
Mhm.
And for all of that, or a football game or a basketball game, the audience is happy to just enjoy the talent and appreciate it. The reason that stand-up comedy is different is because it's just like a person up there talking on a mic. And everybody thinks they can fucking do it until they get up there.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. That's why it's such an issue dealing with hecklers,
Mhm.
because they feel like after a few drinks, and they're half an hour into the show,
Dude.
they're like, well, he's just up there talking. I can do that. I do that all day. I crack my buddies up when we're watching the football game.
You can
I
tell.
can do that.
Well,
So
you just
that's
mentioned.
the mentality. People don't realize that, no, it's not that fucking easy.
No, it's not. It's rehearsal meets prep or like
You
successful
have to
people.
put in at least as much work as any of those other things, these events I just mentioned.
Mhm.
But the audience doesn't get that.
What's
they
weird
get
about-
it when they're watching football. They don't
Yeah.
get it when they're watching a comedian.
Well, what's weird about stand up is the rehearsal is in front of people.
yes.
You're doing it there in
You
front
are
of them.
working your shit
Your
out
rehearsal to
in-
get good is in front of
Yes,
people.
Yes.
So you have
Because
to be comfortable with failing.
it is one of the
Also, wait, real quick, I don't want to leave it on that guy who went up on a bad
I'm
note.
sorry,
He
finish
did ask, like, while he was on stage, like, "Do you guys have any advice?" And I just told him, was like, "Go up with your notes next time. Like,
That's
be
cool.
prepared." Because like we did tell him, like, because he went up for like 30 seconds until he was immediately like, "Oh, I'm crushed. I can't do anything."
But he wasn't
Yeah.
arrogant about it.
No,
And
which was nice.
He asked for feedback.
Yeah, I think there can be a lot of arrogance before you actually hit the stage, and then when you hit the stage, you go, "Oh fuck, I've got
Yeah.
absolutely."
It's
nothing.
not that fucking easy.
No, but we did help him, and we're like, "Hey, dude, like if you actually have stuffs written, we do this every Monday. Come back here at 6 to sign up. We'll put you up, but bring your notes on stage."
You can literally read them off of note cards.
Yeah,
That's fine to do.
Yeah, the most
especially at an
common-
open mic. I wouldn't judge
Yeah.
that if it's good material. Even
Yeah.
if I'm just saying, I would not leave the crowd. I'm like, I appreciate the guy's trying to work it out. That's what he's doing. This is the process.
Yeah, this guy. It was just his birthday, and he was being an idiot, and we let him up. But like,
right.
But it was
Yeah.
it was an awakening. He was like, "Oh no, I have absolutely nothing."
I think it was good
Yeah.
for him though. He had that aha moment,
Yeah,
which again, 99% of the people that go to comedy shows, they don't get that. They don't understand that it's not as easy as just getting up there and talking.
dude, we had this moment. So, like obviously, if you're earlier last week, there was a comic I've never seen before, but he had long hair. He was very much like he had this. I don't know him. He probably won't ever see this. But he was arrogant as fuck, and he was clearly like, "Oh, I'm a comic," and he as a comic was heckling other comics.
Was that him or was he playing a character?
No, that was him off stage.
Oh, really? It's just that
He
arrogant?
kept heckling everyone's set, and it's like,
What? Wait,
yeah, and he claimed
Rewind.
to be a comic. Yeah,
the first time you met him, he
Mhm.
came to an open mic.
he heckled my set, and I said, "That's a good note. Like that's it." But it's like, dude, you're a comic in this scene, and you're gonna try to
And you're-
heckle. Like, what are you doing? It was super.
To other comics?
Yeah, he did it to me.
That's
He did it to
insane.
others, yeah. Like, luckily, I wasn't like thrown off by it, but he was doing it to other people, and it's like, dude, you want to come here and like do a set? Don't do that.
Was he off or?
Dude,
there's
okay.
something
here's the
going
thing,
on
Ken.
there.
You see a lot of people that are off. Dude, the scene is filled
Yeah.
with at least 40% people who are off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really weird. It's so weird, bro. You meet some of the weirdest people doing this.
And that is it's kind of a stereotype, for lack of a better term. Although I don't believe it. I don't think you have to be broken to be a comic.
No.
Although there is a stereotype that some people think that to be funny and to be able to do it, because I mean, there's been a lot of amazing comedians that have had tragic lives and it hasn't ended well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you have to be in pain to be funny.
No.
But there's a stereotype of, oh, this he was a misfit all through high school or all through middle school, and then he got out there and he became this person, and he was in touch with his feelings, but he also was troubled, and you have to be damaged.
No.
I don't believe that.
No, you don't.
But there is a there's a perception that a lot of comics are damaged.
No, I think you have to be kind of nerdy about it. You just have to love it.
Which you could say that about a lot of jobs.
A lot of jobs. Yeah, you have to be into it. Like my buddy Liam, the engineer, like he's pretty into it, what he does. And on the scale he does, what he does is important. And it's,
I don't even want to say it nerdy. You have to be passionate about it.
Passionate.
You have
a
a
better
passion.
word than nerdy. Yeah, passionate.
I mean, so a little window into my world.
You're passionate about tires. What can I say?
No, I wasn't going to go there. Yeah, but I love Costco, love working tire shop. Matt, Blake, yes, Justin, fucking Garrett, fucking Daniel, fucking Adam, fucking Elena, fucking Heather, fucking John.
You don't say that about
fucking
Heather.
Matthew, fucking Chris. I'm probably missing somebody, but anyway.
Yeah.
The guitar thing, which I picked up at the start of the pandemic, and what I've noticed was like now I've gotten to the point where I get off work and go home, and I just in my bedroom, and I'll just sit there and just pluck away at it.
Yeah.
Just and start and thank God for the internet, because any song you want to learn, you can find a tutorial on YouTube.
Yeah,
or
we're
whatever.
so fortunate. Oh my God.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so much easier than when I first started learning guitar, which was in 1990 when I met my freshman year college roommate. He's a guitar virtuoso, but he was the first guy that planted the seed, and I spent 9 months living with him our freshman year, and he started teaching me guitar, and then I dropped it for over 20 years, like 30 years, and then randomly picked it up during the pandemic, and I was like, oh, I can teach myself this. There's YouTube videos.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, trying to relate it to what you were saying is, you spent that time at home in your bedroom practicing.
For the first set ever. But now my process is if I'm driving, working, and something comes into my head that makes me laugh out loud, because it happens.
Yeah.
I just make a note of it. I write like maybe 1 or 2 sentences, or even just a keyword to remind me of that thought, and then I'll go on stage and try to explain it to people what made me laugh.
And I don't think I can access it quickly, but I'm having a throwback to well, and also your job at Olive Garden gives you it's almost like a ready-made audience.
Yeah, that's because you get
to try shit out.
That was a big reason.
With strangers.
That was a big reason I left Vancouver Sign, was because I didn't have enough human interaction. Like, and my like again, living with Grandma Lucy, sure, I'll hang out with her on the couch for like 10 minutes. But my first interaction with people was at open mic.
But you didn't get the job at Olive Garden with the intent of working on your craft. But
kind of.
Oh, did you already? I'm sorry, I was
no,
asking.
no, you're good. No,
did you have that intent, or did you discover that this could actually be a good way to practice?
No, I knew I needed more human interaction, and this can be completely different for any other comic. But like, I wanted more human interaction in my life, and I just needed to be able to sleep in, because waking up at 5 or 6 for Vancouver Sign was
other job,
rough.
Yeah.
Oh man, because
when you're trying to host an open mic the night before. Jesus.
Yeah, it was doable, but oh my God, because I haven't worked out in a long time. But at my first 6 months into comedy, it was working from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., going to the gym, and then doing a mic, and then just crashing. And so I would hit the mics hard for a week, and then I'd be so burnt out I wouldn't hit a mic for a week, then back on for a week, and then off for a week. And it was just burnout, recover. And that's why I switched jobs.
If you're gonna if you're going to get better at this, it can't be that sporadic. You have to do it several times a week.
Right now, I'm only at 3 mics a week, which isn't that much.
It's funny that you mentioned that you say only. It sounds like a lot to the lay person. Like,
to the what person?
To the lay person.
Lay?
Lay. You've never heard that expression?
Lay. L-A-Y?
Yes. To the common person that is not in your field.
No, that's
You've never heard that expression?
Nope.
You just made me feel old. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate it, buddy.
Well, you look young.
Thanks for reminding me that I'm 51.
I really held back an insult there.
The lay person. The lay person. You've never heard that term before?
Nope.
I'm actually, so a year, maybe 2 years from now, you're going to work that word into your act, and you're going to be like, oh my God, Ken introduced me to that term.
Oh my God. I hope we keep doing this because this is so fun. I love podcasting with you. It's so fun to talk with you.
Oh,
also, he makes the best old fashions.
Yeah, we should.
So nice.
Oh, that's funny. I did a video for a coworker at Costco. It was random. I think I was going through this self checkout and I was buying a bottle of Maker's Mark 46, and it just in the natural course of conversation, she was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm old fashioned." She goes, "Oh, those sound good," and I was like, and I gave her the quick like, yes, you have to do it this way, and she was like, "Wow, I didn't know you knew how to." And I went home that night. I had Ame, my roommate, video record me making one. I was like, "I'm gonna record a video and show you how to do this."
Yeah, the Maker's Mark Old Fashioned is delicioso.
It is.
It's so
really good.
And I'll say I have a bit of a buzz going on. I'm not gonna lie.
It makes everything taste better.
Yeah. That drumstick I had downstairs was delicious. God damn. I don't know, but the comedy's cool.
So,
I feel okay. First of all, I got to point out you're a good interviewer. When you do this podcast, do you see yourself as more of an interviewer, or is there just stuff that you want to talk about?
No, I want to hear my guests talk.
I know, but I don't know. You're insightful too. I want to hear.
No, okay, and I'm happy to offer stuff, but I also what I've learned over doing this for about a year, I have to get out of the way of my guest. I need to let my guests talk because I watch back every episode, and I'm on. This is you're 55.
Holy crap, Ken!
55 episodes.
Holy crap! Great
and I
job.
have watched them all multiple times, which is actually really cool. And this might be a tool that would help with your stand-up. I don't know, but record yourself and then listen back.
Yeah, I've
learned so much stuff about when I'm talking to somebody, and I'm like, oh, I say this phrase too often. I need to stop cutting them off when they're about to make a point. I need to stop saying, "Oh, yeah, man, fucking A." That's not what I say, but I have certain phrases that I'm like, I get annoyed listening back to myself doing, and I'm like, so it makes you a better, if you're in this media, I learn all the time by watching myself back. And this software is all free. Everything what I'm using right now is free. I can set it up on your laptop. And it probably could be cool to just literally set your laptop up, do a set when you're practicing shit, and record yourself.
Oh, no, you need an audience for that for sure. You need audience for stand-up.
no.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
I'm recording myself and you're like, God damn, I'm great. That's awesome.
Okay, that's not what I was saying. I'm not talking about whether the punchline works. I'm talking about how you look on stage. Do it again. Jesus Christ, I'll fucking
I bumped it. How am I making noise?
Okay, you sound so hot.
Cool. Oh, thanks, Ken.
Get a little bit closer. Phallic symbol. Open your mouth wider. Anyway, I wasn't talking about your material. I was talking about have you ever recorded yourself on stage? Just mannerisms? Do you scratch your eyebrow too much, or do you do this too much?
I know
that's what I'm talking about. No, it could help you that way.
My confidence stand is hand behind the back. I have a hand behind my back, and then as I get more expressive, my hand flares out.
Right. And that could be great. I don't know, but I think it's just nice to observe yourself.
Well, oh God,
definitely not for the material, because yes, you have to have an audience.
So we talked about the scene a little bit, and I was kind of ragging on it. It's the Portland comedy scene's great. It's fine. It's doable. If you want to do sets, it's gonna happen. So it's doable. You can get sets wherever you want. But something cool was, so there's a guy in our comedy scene named Sean Murphy, and he is a videographer. He started doing stand up shortly after I did. And just this Monday, he filmed. They're doing a mini documentary following Lucas Kopp, who's the host of Montevilla.
Okay.
The Montevilla mic that's happening tonight.
Oh, you told Chris about that.
Yeah, so there's the Montevilla mic going on tonight. Lucas hosts, and then Milo Loza, who was sadly his mic got canceled because of comics yelling at patrons. Okay, we'll do a quick sidebar,
please,
and then we'll go back to what I was saying.
That.
But sidebar, oh my god, our mic was a shit show, dude. Mics get canceled because comedians don't get that it's a public space, and they yell at the audience when they're talking. They'll be like, "Shut the fuck up!" And then the bar has to go, "Hey, this is a public space. These are our customers. You can't do that." And I've seen 2 mics get shut down that I loved going to, and it almost happened to Donnell's.
So I kind of understand. I see both sides, because the audience. We talked about this before. The audience has no fucking respect for what you're doing up there, and they feel entitled.
Some bars they do.
I'm talking about the audience, not the bar. But
I'm sorry. Well, the audience is in the bar. Yeah,
you know what I mean. But there is also, you can't, as the open micer on stage, you have to put up with some shit. You can't attack the audience,
and that's what makes you stronger.
Especially if it's an open mic. Now, if customers paid $50 a ticket to see you, then the comedian probably gets to tell the audience member to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, there's a difference between a show and an open mic in a bar.
Right.
There's patrons, there's civilians. They can do literally whatever they want within legal rights. And the way mics get canceled is a dumb comic who doesn't know any better goes, "Yo, shut the fuck up!" And then the bar owner has to shut it down.
Every comic, I don't care if you're new or seasoned, every comic has had that moment. Or probably several times in their career where they want to tell an audience member to shut the fuck up. But you have to be tactful about how you do
There's
that.
good ways to do it. I had one, and this is only a sidebar. I can't even remember what the original bar was, but I had one at Donnell's, and her name was, who gives a fuck?
But let's not call her out.
No, I don't know. Yeah. Well, it's some random. She wants it, whatever. But
nobody watches my podcast. It's fine.
You have to have a clever shutdown.
Yes.
So mine was, and I found this out because I was talking shit with my brother Jordan, and whenever we shit talk, it's the funniest thing in the world. And I found a good shutdown, and it's literally like, "Okay, what's your name? Oh, blank. All right, well, I'm going to teach you a trick. Okay, watch this. I'm thinking before I speak." That's what I said to her. And so that's my go-to shutdown.
Oh my god, that's
now,
great.
I say, "Oh, what's your name? Let me teach you a little trick. You can do this at home. You can do it whatever you want." And then I just do that.
God, then you can play off it.
Yeah, and then I just do that, and then that gets a good applause, and then I can continue.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. But yelling "shut the fuck up" throws stuff off.
No, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
No, not unless you're an established
not only is
comedian.
that person still going to talk through your shit, the rest of the audience hates you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that you get that.
That was just the sidebar. What was the main point we were talking about? I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
I don't know. But it's fun. It's all fun. I enjoy it a lot, and the friends you make is great. So I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Dude, I think you're fucking killing it. And again, I've seen a complete change in 7 months. Again, of how your comfort level with it. The fact that you're like, "Yeah, fucking show up, Ken." 7 months ago, you were like, "No, if I saw you in the audience, I would get nervous."
No, I've had coworkers show up now from Olive Garden, and my roommates have all gone. And my roommates give me actual real feedback, and they definitely tell me when jokes don't work.
Isn't that so important?
Yeah, the common feedback I've gotten from them is you are, and it's not that complimentary, because you want to hear "Oh, you're so fucking funny. I was dying laughing," but the actual real feedback I get is you made the most sense when you were talking.
Oh.
Because what happens a lot is people get nervous and they talk fast.
Yeah.
And the biggest advice I've picked up from listening to podcasts with these big comedians is, if you're doing good, that's Ron White. If you're doing good, slow down.
Yeah.
And if you're doing bad, slow down. And if you're doing good, slow down. Just makes sense.
Yeah.
And so the common compliment I get from my roommates is, you are the most cohesive person I see when you go on stage. Coherent. Sorry, thank you. Coherent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Because they can actually follow what you're talking about.
Exactly. Because I've seen good premises, but then they fall off because they start not making sense.
Or talking too fast.
Talking too fast. I've definitely talked too fast because I'm nervous. The biggest thing that makes me nervous is not normal audience members, because they don't think how we're thinking.
Right.
But when the bigger names that I know in the scene show up, I get
yes,
nervous in front of them.
that's pressure.
And it sucks, dude. I don't want to be a suck up or anything, but like there's some actual like Portland has some huge, really funny comedians.
Yes.
And when I see them in the audience, I go, well, I'm gonna fucking bomb. I'm gonna suck in front of them so bad.
Have you thought about working that into your act? I mean, you don't have to call them out by name, but you almost want to get up there and just address the issue, the elephant in the fucking room. Say, guys, I've got some amazing people right here staring me right in the fucking eyes as I'm about to bomb.
There's some good.
Just say it.
Yeah, I followed some like it's really like the hottest I've ever done in front of a big crowd because you tend to roll in packs.
Okay.
Of your group of comedians.
Okay.
And so when my friends show up to a mic and we're all in our group of 3 or more, if we're all back to back to back to back, we all hit well.
Right.
And then, but if I have to follow like
if
a
you
guy,
insert somebody unexpected,
a bigger name, and you're like, fuck, I love that guy, and I've noticed I do decently well if I'm watching somebody perform and I'm laughing and I feel jolly. I have to feel jokey. I have to feel funny.
Yeah.
Like I've had if I have rough days, my cure to that before going on stages is fucking around with my good friend, comedy friends, or if I'm watching good sets and then I go ha 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 ha, ha and then I feel good to go up.
You must have to get in the zone.
I have to feel jolly and feel like fucking around.
Yeah.
Which I typically do, but there's days where I don't want to try to be funny. It's so lame. Also, I learned don't laugh when you're on stage. If you're the comedian, you're not the one that should be laughing. Just tell your jokes.
Oh my God, that's a pro tip.
Yeah.
That's a pro tip, yes.
Well, I mean, thank God.
Don't laugh at your own fucking jokes.
Thank God to podcasts literally giving us the formula to being a good stand-up.
Yes, and thank God that nobody watches my podcast, so that nobody's ever going to see this.
No, I don't. Dude, I put on my video for my dad. 54 views. Who's watching these videos?
I know.
Who's watching
I'm
these
kidding.
videos, Ken?
I'm still working on that, and thank God for my daughter.
No, I was going to say you have an audience.
She is so much more as far as how to get your content out there. She knows a lot more than I do about it because like if I just we did this, we recorded, I put it on YouTube. If I just try to share the link on Facebook, and I'm not calling Facebook out, but I'm just going to say the way it is. It's fine, Facebook, you guys are great. Keep doing what you're doing. But if
Mark Zuckerberg's going to fuck you in the butt. What do you Sorry.
Or he'll put me in a rear naked choke because he's doing the fucking MMA shit. So him and Elon are going to fight apparently. So
I feel
I
like
would pay for that.
Zuck's gonna take it if it does happen. Unfortunately.
Anyway, point being, if I just upload an episode on YouTube, and then just share the link on my Facebook page, that shit gets like nobody sees it. They limit the exposure because it's not their content.
Interesting.
Now, what I'm doing now is
54 people saw ours, and I was surprised. That's awesome.
It's gonna get better because what I've learned is if I did this actually last night. I put that laptop up there and I started an episode on YouTube, opened the webpage, YouTube, played a podcast, turned the volume down, and I used my phone to record my own podcast on my laptop. And I said, hey, so I do have this podcast on YouTube. Just you guys should check it out if you like it. But it was an original video and there was no link in it. And I posted that on Facebook. I don't
and that got traction?
I don't know. I just did it last night, so I don't know. But I'm like, if I just share the YouTube link, Facebook limits the exposure to that. They don't want anybody to see it. Now, if I tag, but I'm not going to be that annoying person that tags all 3,000 of my friends in every post because that's fucking tedious. But God, it's so frustrating.
Ken. All I can say is you do have viewership. And those who are not watching what you're doing, or even having just like a connection to you, like your guests do, because you only invite people that you enjoy being, or people you just find interesting.
And I guess I should back that up. I honestly don't care.
No,
I'm not trying to get famous. I don't care about sponsorship.
No, I know that, but I'd say anyone would be lucky to be a part of this, a part of your viewership,
thank you.
Or like
I appreciate you
on
saying
it.
that.
Because
now you're making me blush.
No, you're a good ass dude, man. I enjoy your.
And I think you're an amazing person too. Obviously, that's why I invited you to my daughter's house. So. But yeah, I don't want to. I'm doing this because I just like talking to people and hearing their stories. I learn from talking to other people because they have had a different life than I have.
What was, because I know you've had guests of like all ages, all demographics.
Yeah.
What was something that stood out to you? Maybe like top 3 experiences you've had doing your podcast.
I'm not going to rate them. And
well, you don't have to rate it, but what is
no
something
names.
that stood out to you?
There was one, well, there's been several that have been amazing, that I've been very blessed to have. Actually, no. I'm going to name her. This one was really important and amazing. Matthew Young and Anna that worked at Costco.
Really? Okay, yeah.
You know they're married,
Of course,
right?
yes.
Okay. Do you know her story about how she ended up in America?
Well, I know she's adopted.
Yeah. Do you know how she got adopted?
No.
Because you haven't watched that podcast.
I did not
messing
watch
with
it.
you. Anyway, the story of that touched me. Let me sum it up. You really should. I don't want to. I don't want. No, don't watch it. I want to tell you right now. So she obviously is Chinese, born in China. There's a thing that happens because back then China was very much, and she's younger. Sorry, it wasn't that long ago, but it was more. It was suggested or encouraged to have male children in China, and that was a real thing where if families would have daughters, they would kind of just discard them. So there were, but also
not
at the same
discard,
time,
but like intentionally.
literally discard intentionally.
Yeah.
But there, because of that happening, there were several. You would almost call them, I don't know, adoption agencies, places in China that would take in these abandoned children. I'm sorry, Anna. I'm going to say it. Anna was literally abandoned. Left in a schoolyard as an infant, a few months old, not even a year old. And what the families would do when they had a daughter, which wasn't practical for the system, but Anna got dropped in a fucking schoolyard as a 3 or 4, 6-month-old baby. And then these agencies that were trying to save them, it was like known it was several times a week, I think. Maybe every fucking day, these orphanages would just go out there and like pick up the abandoned children. And that was Anna. She was left in a fucking schoolyard in winter in China, which is fucking cold. And then her adopted parents made a point to go over there, and they had a connection to the agency because they had adopted her older sister in the same way. But yeah, Anna was left in a fucking schoolyard in winter in China. And thank God that her parents found her. So that was the one that because I had no idea. I'd worked with her for at least a couple of years, and I had no idea that was her origin story. So anyway, all right. Thank God Super Bowl's coming up. Let's go Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Oh God, that's funny, dude. I'm so glad you do this podcast. That's so awesome. Hi, Riley.
Yes.
Hi, girl.
Riley.
Good timing. Go to Uncle Ken. Go to Grandpa Ken.
No, I don't like you, Riley.
Yeah, right.
Vaughn likes you way better.
I know, she's great. I'm in the Golden Retriever. That was awesome, Ken. That was awesome. God, you're cool. Fuck yeah, it's awesome. Well,
so I'm gonna make a stupid suggestion.
What's that?
Should we go check out your friend's open mic? It's close.
Montevilla?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, let me pack my stuff up, but if we
Yeah.
stop now, I mean, I'm happy to go there and check it out for an hour.
I'm down. Let's go to Montevilla Station. I might be able to squeeze in a set. We'll see how it goes.
That's what I was thinking. All right.
Yeah.
Again, Vaughn, thank you. Thank you for making me cry, you son of a bitch.
I think that's the second time I've done that. Or
Yes,
the
you
third
son
time?
of a bitch. And what I was, we went back to something about the tire shop, but I mentioned that I couldn't find the video. I have the video, but I don't know how to find it fast. But when you and Brian got in the argument about who's the best Spider-Man,
yeah, you sent it to me. Yeah.
I wanted to, if I could find it on my phone, I was gonna put the audio in front of the mic so they could hear you two arguing and how serious Brian was getting about it. And you're busting a tire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
that was my first day.
It was not your first day.
It was my first day.
Was it?
Yeah.
Jesus. But I think Brian does not think Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man. Is that right?
He's a really good Peter Parker.
But so what was the debate though? Who do you think is the best Spider-Man?
Well, I mean, nostalgia dictates that it's Tobey Maguire.
Right, of course.
But he played a really good Peter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think Brian thinks that somebody else is the best Spider-Man.
I think maybe Tom Holland. I'm not
yes.
Sure. But so if you ask me, because like in the comics, because I'm a huge Spider-Man nerd, I know a lot. Spider-Man was my first.
And it came out on that, and I just filmed this debate going back and forth. But Brian was taking it so seriously.
No, it is serious, Ken. And if you could stop laughing
not.
about
stop
it is. If you could take this
serious,
fucking
Vaughn,
seriously,
knock it off.
So the only gripe I have with Tobey Maguire is when Peter Parker got to college. That's when he was super cool and hot.
Stop.
And he was fucking Black Cat. And he was fucking a bunch of people.
Stop.
Yeah, no. Peter Parker in college, which Tobey Maguire got to in the movies.
God, you are.
He should have been cooler.
You are a fucking geek.
But in high school, it was perfect.
Stop. So anyway,
I'm right.
The point of this was I loved that I recorded that whole engagement with you, and Brian was like just getting way too serious about it, and you were leaning over a tire about to bust it, and you're like, "What? Are you serious?" And you're laughing, and Brian's like, "Yeah, I just don't." Looking at his fingernails, and he's like, "Yeah, I just don't think that they give Tom Holland the respect." And I'm like, and I turn the camera around and go, "This is what I'm fucking dealing with."
Yeah,
I could not believe this was an actual conversation at work. I wanted to punch both of you, but Brian a little bit more. So, and thank God Brian never watches my podcast. So anyway, yes, let's pack it up.
Okay,
Vaughn,
this was great.
This was awesome. The next one we're going to do is going to be in your bedroom.
Yes,
I believe so.
That's
All
fine.
right. I appreciate you being a guest.
And then you can meet the roommates. All right, thanks everybody. All right, are we packing up?